paper just last week that there is a proposal to change the funding for state police officers as to where the funds were coming from as in comparison. What's the thinking in the House with regards to that subject area?
What you're referring to is the governor's, original governor's budget, which how this works is the governor puts out a budget, then the co-chairs put out a budget, and then we actually pass a final budget. So there's three, and then the governor signs it, right, or vetoes it. So in his budget, he had a number, and I believe it was 93 million. Danny, you remember?
Correct.
93 million in the governor's budget to fund state patrol, state police on the patrol out of the Highway Trust Fund. In order to do that, we'd have to send it to you as the voters to have you say, yes, we want to do that. That's happened 2 or 3 times before, and the answer is no, we want those monies in the Highway Trust Fund. The governor got a strong message right up front that that wasn't going to happen. So if there's going to be any dedicated funding to state police, it won't come out of the Highway Trust Fund this cycle. You would have to vote on it, first of all, to make that happen. There'd have to be a constitutional change to be able to make that happen. My thought is we fund it first. Public safety, we fund it first. We got to get, got to get the money out there. It's going to be, we've ramped it back up over the last 3 sessions. I did my ride-along. Are the Edelbrocks here? There they are. I did my ride-along this year with the state police. With Pat Edelbrock's son, Eric Edelbrock, who was a great trooper. It was a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to do that, and as citizens, I think you can sign up through the state police and you can ask to do a ride-along. It's a little bit different than, in fact, I wasn't eligible because Eric wasn't long enough there, but it was a blast. And those guys are working their little heinies off out there on the highway, trying to keep us safe. And they weren't looking for speeders that night. I'm telling you, what they were looking for was something I won't say here.
You were right earlier in your comments about Oregon Project Independence being all general fund. But the other side of that equation, in order to have the other programs, you have to have some general funds to leverage federal funds to make it up. So sometimes it's a lot cheaper. General funds, OPI, keep people in their own home as long as possible than the other programs. And those other programs are crucial programs too. I understand that.
Sure. I think you heard Speaker Hanna and Tim Freeman, who is referring to, just walked by here with some family a while ago. I sat on Human Services my first session here, and I mean, there was times where I was holding back the tears listening to the stories, and I remember passing a note to Gordon Anderson. You see people pass notes, and I said, only Jesus can help this situation. I mean, it was just, I mean, you hear things all the time in this building, and you go, it's not humanly possible for me to fix this. And Representative Hanna was referring to Tim Freeman, who's a really, I mean, he rides a Harley Davidson, he's that kind of a guy. And there are so many needs, and at some point in time, you have to prioritize, just as you do in your business and your family. I mean, I've had people in our business where we've extended their health care benefits because we saw how in dire straits they were, but we couldn't do that forever. I mean, you make those choices all the time in our lives, and those are the tough choices that come out of this building.
Hanna.